Okay, so this is all about simple interest today. So just as a reminder, we're going to have a quick look at what simple interest is. Simple interest is essentially saying, if you give me a certain amount of money, let's make it nice and easy. Let's say it's $100. And we promise each other that we're going to do 2% interest on that. That means per annum, which is PA, every year you're going to give me another $2 for every $100 that you borrowed. So if you borrow $100 at the end of the first year, you give me $2. And at the end of the second year, you give me another $2. And in the third year, you give me another $2. But if you were to start by me lending you $200, then at the end of the first year, you'd give me 2 sets of $2. And at the second year, you'd give me another 2 sets of $2, because for every 100 you give me $2, so you give me $4 per year. That's how simple interest works. It doesn't matter how many years you do that for, you just keep giving the same amount over and over and over again. Okay. The formula that we use is I is equal to P R T over 100, where I is equal to the interest. That's the amount of money that you get or you owe. P is called the principal, and that is the amount of money that you borrowed originally, or the amount of money you invested originally. R is the rate per annum, so they're always measured in per annums, and it's a percentage, PA, and T is the time in years. Now normally, a rate is given as PA, per annum, and therefore the time is in years. Sometimes if they give you time in months, you might need to do M over 12 to get the number of years. Almost always they give you a rate in per annum, so you need to make sure that your time is in years, and if that means dividing by 12, that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of questions from the simple interest worksheet. I'm going to do one, and then you're going to do one, and make sure you can do it, and then we'll be pausing and playing the video and going back to it as we need to. It's really important that you have your calculator ready, so make sure your calculator is open, make sure you've got a calculation page ready to go, nice and clear. If you have to, you can press Menu, Actions, Clear History, nice and neat. So the first one, calculating the amount of interest earned or paid. Calculate the simple interest, so this is just basic formula, on the following amounts. $2,000, that's the principal, invested at 6% per annum, which is the rate, for 4 years, which is T. So we're trying to find the simple interest. So we're going to do I equals PRT over 100, which in this case will be 2,000 times 6 times 4 over 100. And I go to my calculator to do that, and I put in a fraction, 2,000 times 6 times 4 over 100, and the answer is $480. So that's a pretty standard one. Have a go at B on your own. So pause the video right now and have a go at B, and then when you think you've got it, unpause, and I'll go through it and make sure you got it right. Okay, so I assume you've had a go at B now. So we just highlight a few terms in here. So $10,000 is the principal. The rate is 12% per annum. 5 years is the time. So I'm going to do I is equal to PRT over 100. I keep writing the formula out just so I remember it. It's 10,000 times 12 times 5 over 100. We go to the calculator again. I put another fraction in. 10,000 times 12 times 5 over 100, and I should get an answer of 6,000. So $6,000. Cool. So pause the video, do all the questions up to part 2, and come back to me when you're ready for part 2. Should be 1C. Okay, part 2. So similar deal, except this time we've got 8 months. So I've still got $10,000, that's still my P. 6 is the rate R, and 8 months is the time. But I'm going to have to change 8 to be 8 over 12 because I'll have to have it in years. It's really important that the rate and the time are in the same units. Rates are almost always given per annum, so we often have to change the time from months to years. Still the same formula, I equals PRT over 100. This time I'm going to have 10,000 times 6 times 8 over 12 over 100. So you just need to be really careful when you put that 8 over 12 in your calculator. So here's a fraction. We go 10,000 and our rate was 6 times, and I'll just put another little fraction in there, 8 over 12 over 100. Press enter and I get $400. Have a go at 2B on your own and see if you can get the right answer. So pause the video, go do 2B, see what you come up with, then unpause it to see if you did the same thing as me. Okay, now that you've had a go at 2B, I'm going to do it as well. So here's P, principal, here's 10%, the rate per annum, and it's 54 months for T, so I'm going to have to do 54 over 12 when I put it into my formula. So I equals PRT over 100, and I keep writing it so I remember it, is equal to 3,500 times 10 times 54 over 12 divided by 100. So I go back to the calculator, put in a fraction, 3500 times 10 times, and I put another fraction up the top there, 54 over 12 over 100. I get $1,575. That should be enough to get you through the first 5 or so questions. So pause the video, try some more, and then when you're ready and you're up to question 6, come back and have a look at how I did question 6. Okay, question 6. This is a very similar question to the previous ones, except this time it asks us for how much will he have at the end of this period. So what we've been calculating previously was the amount of interest that you earn, but that doesn't take into account how much you started with. So we're going to add another little formula here. So the amount that you have, or that you owe, or that you are owed, is the principal plus the interest. So if you invest a certain amount of money, say $1,000, and then you earn interest on that, when you go to the bank, you don't have just the interest. You have all the money you started with. The interest formula, I equals PRT, only calculates that part. We need to add on the principal at the end to make sure we get it right. So let's have a look at Ben's investment. Here's his principal, $1,850. He's investing for 5 years, that's a T, and the rate is 13.25% per annum. We want to know how much he will have at the end of this period, so I could first work out the interest, I equals PRT over 100, which is 1850 plus times 13.25 times 5 over 100. I'll go to my calculator and put that in. We got 1850 times 1325 times 5 over 100. So the interest he earned was 1225625. So 1225625. Now because this is financial maths, that is always going to get rounded to 2 decimal places. So that's 12225.63. To find out the amount that he has, we take the principal plus the interest. So we take his original 1850 and we give it back to him because that's what he deserves. And then we add 12225.63 to that. We go to our calculator. 1850 plus 12225.63, and he will have $3,075.63. 3075.63. Have a go at 7A for yourself and see if you can get it. So pause the video, have a go at 7A and see what you can do, and then come back and I'll show you how I did it. Okay, so 7A, very similar question to 6. So here's our principal of 900, so that's P simple interest rate of 16.5% per annum, and it's 4 months, and we're looking for the amount owing. So we're going to need to do the interest first and then calculate the amount owing. So first I'm going to do I is equal to PRT over 100, which in this case will be $900 times 16.5 times 4 months, which is 4 over 12 over 100. I'll plug that into my calculator. So it's 900 times 16.5 times 4 over 12 over 100. Get $49.50. 2 decimal places because we're doing financial maths. So the amount owed will be the principal plus the interest, which is 900 plus $49.50, which is $949.50 is how much is owed at the end of the 4 months. So do a few more questions, and when you're up to question 9, come back and I'll show you the next part. So pause the video, do a few more questions, come back when you're at question 9. Okay, question 9. This time we are going to be given a number of other factors, such as the principal and the time and the interest earned, and then be asked to find the interest rate. So we've got a principal of $5,300 invested for 5 years, T, and it's earning $2,119 of interest. That's I. So I still use I is equal to PRT over 100, but this time it's going to be $2,119 is equal to 5,300 times R, which I don't know, times T, which is 5, over 100. And now the CAS calculator is going to be very helpful because we can use the solve feature. Okay, you just need to write this on your page, and then the next thing you're going to write is R is equal to something. So we go to our calculator, and we'll go menu, 3 for algebra, 1 for solve, 2119 equals, and I put my fraction in. Our amount was $5,300, 5,300 times R, I don't know what that is, times the time, which is 5 years, divided by 100, and I'm solving for R, so I have to press comma R, enter. Now it's given me this funky looking fraction, but of course I would prefer it to be in decimals. So press Control Enter and I get 7.996%. So we go back, we get 7.996%. Something like that. So you have a go at 9b and see if you can get it right, and pause the video again, do 9b, come back and see if you get the answer. Okay, so here's 9b, 620 invested for 1 year, earning $24 of interest. So here's P, here's T, and here's I. So I equals PRT over 100. I keep writing it down so I don't forget. So we get 24 for the interest is equal to 620 times R times 1 over 100. R is equal to, go back to the calculator, menu, 3, 1, 24 equals, put in a fraction, number was 620 times R times 1 over 100, solving for R, Control Enter to get a decimal, 3.87%. Usually a question will tell you how many decimal places it wants. So from there, the next question is 11, so make sure you do the rest of 9 and do 10 and pause it and come back when you're ready for question 11. So question 11, much the same as question 9, just this time we're trying to find a different thing. So John invests $20,000, that's his principal, 10% per annum, that's his rate, until he has $3,200. That's actually the amount, not the interest. His interest is the difference between what he has and what he started with. And we want to know for how many years, so we're actually looking for a time. So I need two formulas, A equals P plus I. So I'm going to start with $32,000 equals 20,000 plus I, which gives me $12,000 for the interest. So now I use I is equal to PRT over 100. And we're going to have 12,000 is equal to 20,000 times 10 times T over 100. That's what I'm going to put in my calculator. So menu 3, 12,000 equals, and then a fraction, 20,000 times 10 times T over 100. Solving for T, we get 6 years. T equals 6 years. Always really important to put units on there as well. So pause the video, have a go at number 12, and then come back and check the solution for number 12. So here's number 12. Same idea. So we've got P here, we've got R there, we've got A here. So we're going to need to find the interest first before we can use the PRT formula. So A is equal to P plus I, which is 32,000 for A. $300 equals 17,000 plus I. So if you're not sure, I could just subtract 17,000 from 32,300 to my calculator. So 32,300 minus 17,000 gives me 15,300. And now I'm going to find the amount of time it took. So I is equal to PRT over 100. So we've got $15,300 is equal to 17,000 times 15 times T over 100. Therefore, T equals, and I go to the calculator, so menu 3, 15,300 equals fraction 17,000 times the rate, which was 15, times T over 100, solving for T, 6 years again. Good. So do a few more of those, and when you're up to question 15, you can come back. So again, pause the video, do a few more, come back when you're up to 15. Okay, so 15, same idea, just we're finding different stuff every time. So this time, we've been told that the investment earned a certain amount of money, which is I, and the simple interest rate was 545, and it was a 5-year period, which is T, so we're actually trying to find P. So I go same formula, I equals PRT over 100. This time, 1070 25 is equal to principal, which I don't know, P, times rate, 5.45% per annum, times 5 over 100, and I'm going to go to the calculator and solve that. So 1070 25, so menu 3, 1070 25 equals fraction, I don't know, P, times the rate, which is 545, there's P, times the rate, 545, times 5 years, over 100, solving for P, $3,927.52, 3927.52. Double check that I wrote it down right. $3,927.52. Good. So have a go at question 16 on your own using a similar approach. Again, pause the video, do try to go at 16, unpause it to make sure you got the same final answer. So here's 16, how much money needs to be invested, so it's asking for the principal, in order to produce $725 in interest. So it's I, at 7.5% per annum, R, over 4 years T. So same again, I equals PRT over 100. $725 is equal to sum principal times 7.5 times 4 over 100. Therefore, P is equal to, we go back to the calculator, menu 31725 is equal to fraction P times 7.5 times 4 over 100, solving for P, 2416666. So 2416666, therefore P is equal to 2416.67 because it's money, so we go to 2 decimal places for cents. So lots of practice questions here to keep trying. It's really important that you nail down this skill because when we do recurrence relations of simple interest, you have to understand what exactly is happening. Good luck.